Ladies and gentlemen, my dear friends, welcome to my first video post, and I'm going to talk about the future of our world. The aim of this video is to talk through what I think of the future and sensitize you all to have your viewpoints. Now, I can talk about this for hours and hours, but let me keep it at a very high level, exclude certain topics, and refrain from commenting on how to do it. So, let's start with my point of view. There's so much to cover. Probably I'll try to categorize them into different sections. To start with, first would be the geography and the nation. Today, there are 195 countries in the world. If this is one humanity, we need to have one earth and one nation. Hence, all the divisiveness in terms of the countries will go away, and there will be one nation. One nation alone, which represents the entire humanity. But this is easier said than done, because there's so much to do in this. Probably, I think the right way would be to start with some sort of model states or sanctuaries, which will become the role model of the future world. Now, in this sanctuary or a model state, let's talk about how the politics is going to work. The art of governance that we see today will see altogether a sea change. It will be totally different. It will not be just democracy, people voting for it, but it would be just like any other job. People would be getting promoted as per their accomplishment, and ultimately they will become the chancellors, prime minister, or presidents of a country. All the expensive campaign, there's so much money which gets invested, that all will go away, and all the hullabaloo against that will go away. There will not be any fixed tenure, but that will be based on how much the people would like the leaders to carry on, how effectively they are representing them. All the administration that we're talking about would be heavily dependent on technology. The new technologies such as biometrics, etc., can be used for that. Now, coming to law and order, if we have to make a sanctuary or a model state, we have to give them and law and order and the security like no other state. So the rule of law will actually going to be more on prevention element, like heavy fines or tracking the people who would be or might have done something in the past or have some kind of inclination. So again, a technology would come in to actually try to prevent a crime before it happens. If it happens, obviously the criminals will not only suffer great penalties, but also they would be exiled from that sanctuary. They would not have any right to stay in such a beautiful country or as such a beautiful state, which is going to be the future of humanity. Currently, there are 135 million criminals across the world. Certainly, this state cannot afford to have any within its border. Also, very important in law and order is it will work on giving instant justice. It will believe justice delayed is justice denied. Again, the technology will come into play. Also, the professionals, the number of professions who are working on it, that will become more decisive. And the focus would be more on instant justice. It will not be like today's in much of the third world countries or in some countries where the justice is given long after the crime has been done. That's not going to happen. And for such a model state, they will have to save themselves from the hostile eyes. Currently, there is an expenditure of roughly around 1.8 trillion US dollars globally. And also, if you count the number of soldiers, there would be over 20 million. Now, to keep us safe, to keep such a sanctuary safe, you need to have a war machine, not by numbers, but by quality. So you need to have very, very advanced war tech, which is not to be shared with anyone, any country, any region, howsoever friendly that is. We can have a war of army of drones, terminators in all areas, space, air, land, or even oceans. Now, when we're talking about law and order, politics, and defense, it would be very good to actually talk about what it brings to an individual, a human who is living within its border. It has to have the proper balance in terms of complying to nature. Currently, study shows that 31% of the total land mass are under forest, which is definitely lower than what it used to be in pre-industrial area. But this is something which is going to increase. It may be a wild forest or it may be a planned one, but certainly it would be more compliant, especially when you go home, you live, you will see greenery all around. It would be good to have a clean and renewable source of energy. Fossil fuel obviously would not be a choice. Now the energy, whether it's a wind energy, water, solar, or a bioenergy, that will be effectively used to ensure that we are actually very friendly to the climate and to the nature. Now, even if you have a strong defense, we cannot survive if we don't have anything, if we are not immune against the natural calamities. In a single year, roughly around 400 calamities takes place, whether that's an earthquake, jungle fire, storm, tempest, etc., etc. So the advanced in technology in terms of the building material, the architecture, we will have to make it so effective that the impact would be minimal. Even if the whole tsunami comes, it should not be able to run a havoc on that beautiful piece of land, which is going to be the future of mankind. Now, such a city will have all its amenities. Right now, there are close to 1.85 billion who are living in utter poverty. Now, this sanctuaries, not a single person will go sleep hungry. All will have the basic amenities for sure, whether it's a matter of justice, healthcare, education, or a house and a home for all. Of course, this will take care of the material prosperity in regards to food and home, but it can't be able to do much on the attitude poverty. That's something the citizens will have to work towards. When we talk about the amenities, obviously, we should also talk about the learning and the career, the working opportunities for its people. Learning would be as per the interest. Right now, if you look at the literacy rate for people aged, a young population of aged 15 or less, it's over 82%. More and more people are getting literate, not necessarily educated. Now, this is going to lay a lot of focus on your finishing, on teaching you the right education, the right values that you bring up with, the ethics, the concept of dharma. Now, technology and innovation will be compulsory because all will have to be required to contribute towards making a better world. Now, once they graduate, they get into work, and right now, if you look at the numbers, over 192 million people are unemployed. But here, all the able men will be employed. But emphasis would be to have a quality employment and a balance with the personal family time. More encouragement will be given to work from home. There will be easy shift that can start at any point of time as per the requirement, whether it's day or night. The promotions will be given not just on the basis of seniority, but more on the basis of accomplishments, what they have done. One doesn't have to just work. We have been working 6 days, 7 days a week. Much of our adulthood goes into working. But they would be working maybe 3 days in a week or 4 days a week so that they can spend the rest of their time with their loved ones, with the family. Some of the entry level jobs, or even the low jobs like the cleaners, tellers, guards, that may give way to more of robotics, artificial intelligence. And for a human who is endowed with a great mind, will have to do more of a supervisory or an improvement role or innovation. Now, all this is focused and is going to be focused on one thing: having a strong family bonds. Our future would be great if a family is strong and there are strong values in the community, in this society. So more emphasis will be given to have a good family, togetherness, with all the technology and metal around. One would always focus on the care for each other, for emotions, but togetherness, the tender feelings that we all human represent, all living things represent. That's where the focus would be. Care for your own ones, respect, and also care for the differently abled ones is something would be the focus. We would celebrate each other's success and festivals, whether it's Diwali, whether it's Eid, whether it's Christmas, New Year. Everybody is going to celebrate everyone's success and festivals. Now, when we talk about career, we talk about a strong family, we talk about a defense, we talk about a beautiful one nation, one earth, with all the facilities that you can think of. With all this, for what? Until unless you have a spiritual basis, you cannot actually go ahead in life. That's where the goodness and the religion comes into play. In the struggle between the power of goodness and evil, this estate will represent goodness. It will do what's required to be done. Even so, the animals which are living within its border will be cared for. Now, those who are, who eat non-veg, probably they will, the people who cook non-veg, they will have some kind of license so that they will be authorized. Other than that, cruelty on animals would be tantamount to cruelty on a human. The penalties and the justice would be almost the same. So an animal will not have to fear a human. Religion is a very important thing that we have to be always guard against. Right now, Christianity overall in the world is roughly around 31%, Islam 23%, Hinduism 15%, Buddhism 7%, and there are many other religions, many, which forms the remaining part of the pie. Religion will be a matter of strictly personal choice. So when a kid is born, they will have the chance to confirm whether they want to continue in that religion or take any other religion. Because all roads lead to Rome, and likewise, all the religions will lead to one Almighty. With this, I think I bring an end to my point of view. Please let me know your thoughts on what you find missing and how you differ. I will work on my second post about what I can bring, of interest to you guys. And for any suggestions, please comment or mail me. I will keep on making these things better so that you come up with a constructive way of thoughts around it. Thank you.